Hey guys, so when I was hanging out in the Saffron Wolves guild house, I had Ratbeard DM me about doing these Myth's Shadow Spell teasers. And you know, being the #1 myth in the game, I thought it'd be pretty fitting if I did. So, first up, we have Dark Nova. It is a 75 shadow damage hit with 3 universal 30 traps for a clear weakness pact on yourself. Now, I don't see this ever happening, ever, because the shadow hit's just gonna remove the weakness, and then you're taking 15% lash, and I'm not entirely sure that's worth 330 traps. Next up, we have Shadow Nova, which is just Shrike. It's Shrike, but you get a Myth Pip, and you have to use up your traps on the enemy. You know, the gamutable traps that you can put on your enemy. Yeah, I don't really see that being used, but I've asked the finest minds of the PvP channel, and they're looking into it right now. We'll see if they can get anywhere. Next up, we have Baba Yaga. Gambit 2 dots for 260 traps. Yeah, I'm not too sure this will work, because those universal traps are just gonna get eaten by the dots. So, if it was myth traps, it might make more sense, but I don't know, man. I'm sure, Jitty is, crying his eyes out over this, but, the Shad version's pretty nice. Unfortunately, for Myth Wizards, it's pretty useless because it doesn't fit into their blade strategy. So I'm not too sure that they can really think through that one. I'm sure they try their hardest, but... Next up, we have Barbarian Saga. So this is just Orthrus. So next up is the Barbarian Saga, but the Shad version. So you're just never going to use this ever. We have Mystic Colossus. I know Noodle is punching air right now because he really wanted this to be a Jin's defense, and he didn't get it. It's a steel shield. I don't really know why it's a steel shield. I feel like I thought that we were keeping the steals on the lore spells, but I guess we're doing that. It's steel 16 shields, so you know, if you ever get into a situation where there's 4 Legion shields on every opponent in a raid or something, I'm sure that happens quite often. So now the Shadow version of Mystic Colossus. This is a Jin's defense. I'm not too sure. I mean, it could be useful. Not sure you're using it on the Myth School though, because you know it'd break your blade stack, and God forbid that Myth does anything but click blade. Snake Charmer. Snake Charmer is interesting. It's Stone Colossus, but not a bomb, so you can actually use it for the dot. Top Path is just poison. They removed poison from death and put it on Myth, which pretty good. The Shadow version, again, you're just not gonna use it because you're just hitting and then clearing weaknesses. When is a Myth ever gonna get tri-weaknessed? I don't know, man. I'm not too sure they really thought this one through for the weakness clear packs. Tatzelworm. Tatzelworm's a bit confusing, but oh, you get it? Confusing. Yeah. But you're just turning potentially useful traps into traps that are gonna get broken from your own overtime. So, you know, it's not very useful. I'm not sure why every single one of these spells so far have been universal traps. Doesn't really make sense. Yeah, so we can turn your 3 useful traps into slightly less useful traps, so, you know, go crazy. And then, finally, we have the Shadow version of Tatzelworm, which is just flat out worse than Yaga. So, you know, that's fun. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm the #1 myth in the game. I deserve these teasers. Yeah. Exclusive. Hail Limbow.